Okay, so I'm still reeling from this, but I need to get it off my chest. For months, I felt like I was losing my mind. Now I know why. My ex, Peter, isn't just a regular jerk. He's a full-blown manipulative sociopath, and I finally got my justice. Mark and I were together for about a year. He was charming, charismatic, and everyone loved him. He had this incredible way of making me feel like the most important person in the world, then flipping a switch and making me doubt my own sanity. Our arguments always ended with me apologizing, even when I knew deep down I hadn't done anything wrong. He'd twist my words, making me feel overly emotional or just plain crazy. The breakup was messy. He painted me as the unstable one. I was heartbroken, but also relieved. A few weeks after we broke up, something truly horrifying came to light. A mutual friend finally reached out. She blurted it out. Peter had been secretly recording our private conversations. Not just arguments, but any conversation. He was sharing these recordings with his friends, editing them, and taking my words completely out of context to make me sound like a deranged, hysterical ex. My blood ran cold. He had crafted this entire narrative, turning me into the villain for his audience of bros. That feeling of losing my mind? It wasn't in my head. He was actively trying to make me feel that way. Initially, I just wanted to disappear. But then the anger hit. A white-hot, righteous fury. He had stolen my peace, my privacy, and my reputation. He had to pay. I started small. I reached out to that mutual friend, who then put me in touch with a few other girls Peter had dated. It turned out I wasn't his first victim. One girl told me how he'd gaslit her until she thought she needed therapy. Another showed me texts where he'd mocked her anxieties to his friends. The pattern was sickeningly clear. I encouraged them to send me any texts, screenshots, or proof they had. I also dug through my own old conversations with him, finding texts where he'd subtly bait me or provoke an emotional response. I started saving everything. Screenshots upon screenshots, testimonies from the other girls. It was a meticulous, consuming process. I knew I couldn't just confront him privately. He'd deny everything. I needed a public, undeniable spectacle. My chance came when Peter was receiving a Young Entrepreneur of the Year award at a huge annual charity gala, an event with tons of local media. It was his moment of triumph, and I decided it would be his moment of utter humiliation. I spent weeks planning. I discreetly rented a powerful projector and a screen, making sure I could set it up quickly. I got help from a couple of tech-savvy friends. We practiced the timing, ensuring everything would go off without a hitch. The night of the gala arrived. Peter was up on the stage, basking in the applause, giving his acceptance speech about integrity and community. The irony was palpable. As he finished, just as the presenter was coming back, my friends activated the projector. The screen, which was supposed to show a slideshow, suddenly lit up with a huge scrolling display. First there were the screenshots, text from Peter, gleefully mocking my insecurities to his friends. Then snippets of conversations where he'd clearly been trying to provoke me, followed by his snide remarks about my instability. Then, the testimonies from the other girls, anonymized but powerful, detailing his manipulative patterns. The final damning piece was a voice memo, a short recording from one of the girls of Peter himself, admitting he recorded conversations and doctored them, laughing about how easy it was to mess with people's heads. The hall went silent. Peter froze on stage, his face draining of color. People started turning, whispering, pulling out their phones. The media photographers, there to capture his glory, started snapping pictures of the screen, of his horror-struck face. He tried to say something, but no words came out. He just stood there, exposed, humiliated. Security eventually intervened, but the damage was done. Everyone saw it. Everyone knew. I left before anyone could question me. I didn't need their validation. The story exploded online and in local news. Peter's award was revoked. His reputation shattered. He lost his job, and most of his friends have distanced themselves. The other girls he wronged are finally getting some peace too. It wasn't easy, but seeing his face, that mask of charm finally cracking, that's a sight I'll never forget. I finally feel free, like I can breathe again. And I learned a valuable lesson. Some monsters don't have fangs and claws. They have charisma and a smartphone, but even they can be exposed.